Hey folks, it's Cameron from the Brushfire Mind, and this is Coffee.
Okay, that should fix it. Sorry, guys. Thanks for that. Thanks for that heads up. I didn't see that. So after we did the stream to midnight night before last, we got up and still did the show. And let's be real. When we got up to do the show yesterday morning, we were talking about we were trying to spend a half hour talking about something that we had literally just spent almost 5 hours talking about. It was a bit of a struggle to get the show going yesterday morning, and then I had a weird day. Just weird. So I was out shooting houses all day yesterday, right? First house, wrong door code, can't get in. So I'm headed to the next house. I send a message to the agent, no answer. I head to the next house. That one goes fine. I'm on my way to the third house. I get a message from the first agent. Hey, here's the correct code. And I'm like, yo, y'all failed, but I'll see if I can squeeze you in somewhere. I get to house number 3, and this is somebody who rescheduled because he wasn't ready to shoot last week. And he said, oh, you're going to hate me. I'm not ready again. Okay, fine.
Right,
reschedule. I'm going to charge you for it.
You're right. I hate you.
That shit just kept happening all day yesterday. And I go back to the first one and get in with the right code and shoot it. And then I get to the next one after that, and these people aren't even home. So I call them. Oh, we got stuck at work. Okay, cool. And then I get a call from the scheduling guy. It's like, hey, since you're over there, can you grab this one that somebody else screwed up earlier? Yeah, I got that. It would just the whole day. I went to 7 houses. I shot 4 of them. It just the whole damn day. So yeah, I went to bed at 6:30 last night. How was yours?
I did not go to bed at 6:30. You tell that whole story to talk about getting in your pajamas hella early and then going to bed. I don't think you're going to elicit as much sympathy as I think.
Does it help that I was up at 2?
No, it doesn't. Your bizarre sleep schedule doesn't help. And hey, I just want to acknowledge something. I'm a bona fide member of the Brushfire Mind is watching us on Rumble. Good morning, sir.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a Steve. See, he goes by Rhodey over there, so there's no more jokes about Steve and proper Steve, and never which will we tell you who they are, you know. And then, but as far as like, can I have the thing?
There.
But as far as the other chat goes, it looks like the Fit Life with Danielle was first. Good
With
morning.
First Blood.
And then
And she is so awesome. Danny is so awesome that if you're looking here, you can see that she actually qualifies by herself as the first 100 messages. Just by saying good morning.
I don't think people could see it. But
It's called impact.
Yeah, I don't think people could see it, but anyhow, GCM, Georgia Constitution Media, Sean Stryker, yeah, Pitt Danny, good morning, Scrimshaw Rose.
I feel like that's a cop joke. Whoop, whoop.
Okay. And then Jen Lee McGinnis, good morning, good morning, good morning. And then see, there's Steve, and now I can't make the proper joke, Steve. There's Dan Burks again. Your dad, the Sergeant Major, is on Twitch. Good morning, let's go, Brandon. Yeah, sure, exactly. And then there's your mom. Good morning, Ma. Good morning. And then, she says she also went to bed at 6:30 our time, 7:30 her time. That's funny. And I think that was going to do. I think that's everybody that's active in the chat. So there you go. Good morning. It's Thursday, man. I'll just say it. And God, I wish when this was the Toter Win segment. Oh, and good morning to David Bethay. How you doing?
Morning.
How you doing?
So
look, let me say this to David Bethay real quick, brother. I realize you're probably sad, but there's probably going to be a special election to replace a dying senator before too long. So.
Oh, that's right.
Try not to be too sad.
I don't want to talk about elections too much, but I do want to hit this real quick because there are some things that, like, Cameron and I were talking about some stuff this morning, just stuff that's alarming to see people vote for. People cast votes for Stacey Abrams. I mean, she lost decisively, but people still voted for her. And here's what I want you guys to understand. And we saw a bit of this in 2020 with headlines like, Joe, just hold on. We only need your corporeal form. They literally are not interested in their own candidates. In fact, a lot of them they just hate. They're all about getting the party in control of that position. This is so true. This is so incredibly true, guys. Democrat reelected by a landslide in Pennsylvania. Even though he's dead. Win by longtime state representative Tony DeLuca, who died last month, triggers special election that will be held on a later date. That's right. In this election that just happened, the Democrats are so aware. See, everything I just said about the we just need your corporeal form, they're not interested in their candidates. They're so disinterested, they're not even aware that the candidate that their dead people are voting for is also dead. The party of infanticide is also the party of zombie voters and, apparently, zombie senators.
You know,
representatives.
You know, I've made the point that the left is engaged in quite a bit of cruelty when it comes to their elected representatives, where, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we talked about, like,
right,
obviously
just keeping her in the chair, pushing her around.
Yeah, yep. Obviously terminal. And, you know, the obvious stuff with Joe, who apparently had a pretty severe, I didn't listen to his statement yesterday, but apparently, like, he had a full-on, like, 10-second brain reset moment. And then the stuff with John Fetterman and everything else. And, you know, Nancy's probably not in the best of health with this convenient hammer time incident. And all that other stuff. But man, if you just needed, like, the proof to come down and just, like, punch you right in the gut, like, he's not dying. He's not on life support. He dead. And like
It's not like he passed away while the election was going on. He died a month ago.
Right. A month ago. But hey, man.
And the headline didn't say dead man narrowly wins. No. Landslide.
Vote blue no matter who. Vote blue in 22 no matter who.
Yeah. No shit.
Man, but apparently guys like you and I are stupid because we still think Trump might be a good choice. But, well, whatever. You know, most fortified election in history. Go.
These people aren't even aware. They can't pick their candidates out of a lineup. All they know is, I'm supposed to check the D. I'm supposed to check the D. I love the D. I love the D.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, Democrats.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, Democrats are for poor people.
D is for daddy.
Yeah,
Sugar daddy. You fucking bums. So, let's talk about... I don't want to talk about elections anymore, man. But let's talk about elections.
But you brought it up.
I know. But let's talk about election tampering. So, the Twitterati, the American press agencies, they're losing their mind over Elon buying Twitter. And one of their big hang-ups is this idea that he's going to start selling the blue check mark for $8. I know, Cameron. I'm struggling. I'm keeping it together.
Look, keep going. Because if we wander down that rabbit hole, the show is over.
So this is actually something that Cameron and I started talking about a little bit Monday morning. And okay, I have a high opinion of myself, and in this case, I actually underestimated myself. I was telling Cameron, I thought I was telling Cameron as kind of a preamble, something that was just common knowledge. But the blue check mark on Twitter has been an important scam for a long time. And it's kind of part of the cyclical headline or byline laundering process. So a good example of how the byline laundering process works is you need this context to keep up as we go forward. Go back to the original claims on the Russiagate with the PIS dossier, right? The Trump dossier. So it was published by a disreputable paper that nobody really gave a shit about, but it was published by that paper. So then all the big boys, all your New York Times and your Time Magazine and Washington Post, all the people that are verified news with, where all their press agents have the blue check mark on Twitter. So, this is a real person and you can trust them. They get to cite back to the BuzzFeed article so that they can say, well, no, we're not reporting anything. We're reporting that so-and-so reported it.
Yeah, I'm quoting.
Right. So New York Times quotes that. WAPO quotes that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now, with them all having quoted the same original garbage source that would be adequate for a fact checker to shut them down and say, no, this is a bullshit source. Your source is completely illegitimate. Whoa. But now that WAPO and New York Times and et cetera, have all written about the BuzzFeed article, they can go back and edit their original articles where they cited back to BuzzFeed, and then they cite to each other. Because now their other articles exist. So they just cite to each other and cut the bad apple out of the back. It's called citation laundering or cyclical citation. So you can create the citations out of thin air. Similarly, with the blue check mark, having the blue check mark, and we got to go back a little bit more on this one. The original idea with the blue check mark is Twitter happens. Twitter exists, and celebrities get on Twitter, and other people get on Twitter and start pretending to be celebrities so that they can use the clout popularity of the celebrities to grow an account and use that to either market a product or make statements and arguments that people follow because of the popularity of the celebrity, but they're fake, right? So Twitter comes out with the blue check mark. Originally, the idea behind the blue check mark was a reasonable idea. It was, okay, you set up your Twitter account, and then you're an important politician or a celebrity or whoever. You're a person, a public persona. And we can go through a process to verify that, email, ID, whatever. And so you verify who you are, and now all of a sudden, at real Donald Trump with a blue check mark means, no, this actually is Donald Trump's account. So you know that if something comes from that account, it is the person that it says it is. That was the point of the blue check mark.
Hey, Biden's account has a blue check mark, but that ain't Biden.
Not anymore.
What? Huh?
And that's part of where it went wrong, is then you get your especially politicians. It's usually not the politician, with probably the exception of Donald Trump, being able to. They have a staff that does their Twitter, that handles their social media, right? So you see a politician's tweet, it has the blue check mark that says this is really him, but it actually isn't. But in fairness, it is his agent, which is a little. No, hell, it's a lot different, especially legally, from it being a faker account. Now, Elon comes out and says, I'm going to do this subscription plan for $8 a month where you can get yourself verified. You'll have your blue check mark, and there's some other benefits with it. There's some stuff where you're able to edit tweets, and there's some other commercial tools for advertising and growing an entrepreneurial business, stuff like that. Well, what's funny is before Elon bought Twitter, there was this thing called Twitter Blue, which was basically that for $20 a month. Right? And I was trying to tell Cameron about all this Monday morning, and I didn't realize that he didn't realize the extent to which there was major corruption here. Now, when I was first talking to Cameron about this Monday morning, part of the thing that is of concern is that Twitter employees have been selling, and this was a theory that I had, and I thought it was one that was widely shared among our ilk, is that journalists especially have been buying the blue check mark, and even their companies buying them for them, so that they get that bump of credibility, even if they're a brand new journalist at, the big paper of record, whatever that may be. And that's how they're able to push false narratives or get the clout to redact true narratives, like the Hunter Biden laptop story, right? They're able to push fake stories like Donald Trump said there's good people on both sides, or you should eat horse paste.
Or drink bleach.
Yeah,
that's right. The one that's still
those get shoved up to the top of Twitter through these blue checks, which we all theorized were being acquired surreptitiously through bribes and scams, and they were just buying them. Thing about employees going and selling those, Tim Pool actually...
hey, can I just real quick?
Well, not yet. Pool used this analogy. If you have employees selling the blue check mark for $15,000, which is what they're accused of now, that's similar. You go into McDonald's, hey, I'd like a double cheeseburger. Okay, I'm not going to sell you one, but meet me around the back with cash, and I'll hook you up. And you go around back, and you give the guy $5, and he sticks it in his pocket. That's crime.
Yeah, oh, absolutely crime. I'll tell you the one that absolutely is the height of example of artificially inflating. It's LeBron James. Goes by King James.
Of course he does.
Yes, so clever, so clever. But no, remember when that like
Does
whole
he spell it with an A?
remember when that whole like Hong Kong thing was going on, and the NBA just decided that they liked China's money too much to come down on the side of Hong Kong, and LeBron James, while simultaneously wading into politics, said that people should stay out of politics if they don't know what they're talking about, and he was elevated to the top. Why? Why? Because he met you around back and bought steaks out the back door. Like it is, as you said, that's crime. That's not just theft. Like, you better be careful what DA gets a hold of that. They could hit you with a laundry list of charges,
including robbery.
So.
And conspiracy to commit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're at the point to where it's very obvious where for thousands of dollars, and what was the average Twitter salary? Like $140,000 a year?
Yeah, something like
so your
that.
average salary is $140,000 a year, and once or twice a month, you got to sell a blue check mark out the back door for another $8,000. Your fucking $10,000 a month plus salary wasn't enough?
Yeah. Apparently.
To do what? To work from home 4 out of 5 days?
A lot of them are working from home more than... And when you go in the office, it's...
And they've got like a cafeteria.
It's a bouncy...
That's
when
right.
you go in the office, it's a bouncy house with Starbucks and avocado toast. You know, cry me a... Learn to code.
I mean... so, super long story short, this is one of those things where intuitively we understood that these were arrogant fucks that thought that they knew better than the rest of us plebs.
Right.
Okay. So when Elon bought them out and they all went renew and everything else, it was like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of whiny bitches. Okay. I love all the different dominoes that start with the tiny one that's like banning the Babylon Bee. 50% of your company gets fired, right? But to have evidence of this kind of corruption, well, it's funny because it just seems to be a thing that these lefties in particular, they'll tell you how terrible capitalism is and how corrupt it is and how greedy it is and how companies that make millions and billions of dollars a year, they're just terrible because it's never enough and they always want more. And it's like, psychologists call that projection, don't they?
They do. They do indeed. So...
Think anybody's going to go to jail, or is the humiliation and the vindication going to be enough?
Well, and the funny thing is, I was telling you about this on Monday and realizing that this was that you weren't quite tracking on the whole black market ecosystem of blue Twitter check marks and how that's part of the machine for election tampering and narrative manipulation. And literally that, like 3 or 4 hours after that was when the news broke and we started seeing stuff like the chairman, WSB chairman. I don't know who that is. I don't think it's the chairman of WSB that we would think of as Atlanta citizens. But Twitter employees were selling verification for upwards of $15,000. For certain accounts, mine included, they would refuse to verify you through the standard application and then privately offer to verify you for money behind the scenes. Investigation needed. And here's Elon responding immediately. Yup. And then we've got another, and this guy's actually got a blue check mark. I can confirm this. I was offered verification in June of 2015 as I was an author and speaker. The price I was told was $13,000. Obviously, I couldn't afford it and continued on. Elon bought a crime scene, and now people are finding out just how bad it is. I love that Tim Pool's retweet comment is just, holy shit. Right. And that is the conversation that's happening on Twitter right now. Oh, it's all coming out now. Elon just confirmed Twitter employees have been selling blue check marks for up to $15,000. Now, when they say up to $15,000, I think it's a pretty safe bet to guess that what they mean is 15,000 is the biggest one they found. I'd be surprised not to learn that there were not some bigger buys in that arena.
Well, there's no, never mind. Look, I'll just jump straight to it. Okay, it's not just the corruption in and of itself. Part of what this is, it's like the narrative, of course, is that, Elon, you bought this company and now, the advertisers are leaving and, is it going to make the billionaire lose some money? Forget the fact that these same people fucking loved Elon Musk just a few years ago, right?
Of course, because he invented the electrical.
Yeah, he invented the electrical. There you go.
It's like the wheelchair guy that invented time.
Like well played. Anyhow, but they had no problem whenever the deal looked like it was going to go bad for him. So, now Elon's going to be forced to take over Twitter, and he lied about the bots and everything else. I'm reminded of when Donald Trump said they wiretapped my phone at Mar-a-Lago. And they said, God, Donald Trump is so stupid. They don't use wiretapping technology anymore. And it's like, yeah, dumbass. And this right here, this is only technically a phone. It's actually a miniature computer, but we don't call it a miniature computer. We call it a phone. And to somebody of a certain age, hold on. And to somebody of a certain age, if you were to spy on me, I might say you tapped my phone, even though you didn't literally wiretap my phone.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Elon Musk saying, there's all these bots and all this bullshit at Twitter. He could have just been using a certain vernacular. And what he actually meant was, wow, there's just like layers and layers of all sorts of conspiracy and grift and fraud. And just like, this is a fucking electronic swamp. And I'm going to have to figure out how to drain it and build Disney World on top of it.
Now, and like you were just saying, we call this a phone. This thing is in no way a telephone. It's a radio. It is the only thing similar is the concept of the function. But a cellular telephone is not a telephone. There are no wires involved in that device connecting to its network. Now, there are wires in that network, but that is a radio. It is not a telephone. And yes, when you say tap, it's the same thing. It's a nomonym. It's like saying they made a decision on Capitol Hill. Obviously, Capitol Hill didn't make a decision. The White House didn't issue a credential.
I know.
It's a nomonym.
Look, it's the same thing here, though. Like he said, there was a bunch of bots. Twitter had a bot problem, and it could be that he was actually being smart and he was doing a bit of a misdirection. See, there's this thing in football called play action where the quarterback will deliberately maneuver his hands so that it looks like he's setting up to throw the ball really far down the field, but instead he'll toss it off to a guy a couple of yards away from him, right? I fully believe Elon is smart enough to engage in play action. And if you're going to leverage like entire financial houses, okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But if you're going to leverage billions of dollars to buy a company, I think you're smart enough to engage in a little play action if you know you're going to get this kind of pushback and it could be that these advertisers that are leaving Twitter, maybe they're not leaving Twitter because, please tell me that's real. Anyhow, don't tease me with things like that, sir.
I wasn't expecting that. You go ahead.
It could be that the advertisers that are leaving Twitter, they're using Elon as cover, but in reality, now that the truth about all these things are coming out, they want to pause their advertisements on the platform because they don't want to be painted with the same brush many others will be painted with. And Dave, Just as a quick aside, I see your comment. I'm not going to respond to it. Chris and I actually talked about that for a long time this morning before the show. And yeah, we will actually come back and talk about the thing you're bringing up. But right now, we're talking about tech and Twitter and Elon and corruption and everything else. So, but yeah, I think that's why the advertisers are leaving, man. It's cover. It's like when that music festival pulled out of Georgia and said, "Oh man, Georgia's gun laws, constitutional
it's because
carry."
of Georgia's new gun law.
Yeah. No, it's because you didn't sell enough fucking tickets.
Well, and they cited a gun law that was like 8 years old at the time.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that the local media that I'm plugged into here in Georgia, they are 100% convinced that the promotion company, it was absolutely going to lose its ass on that deal, and it was cheaper for them to burn it to the ground than try and push forward and get its ass kicked. So it was just convenient to be able to blame it on Georgia's gun law.
All right.
So anyhow, I think that's
I just saw something, and I want to say it if I can, but I suspect I can't.
I don't think we can.
I'm going to take a quick peek here.
I think that was a distractifying thing there.
It was.
For obvious reasons, but I don't think we can. Sean Stryker says he's lost the plot.
Yes, you have. Y'all be safe out there. We're gonna go ahead and shut this down this morning. And we will see you tomorrow morning for Firearms Friday. And who knows, maybe we'll have good news in the morning. We love you, and y'all be safe out there.